one in Calabar, in the Tinapa Knowledge City. We're hoping to bring another 2 online in 2015. I would encourage young Nigerians who are interested in developing software, creating companies out of this software, to visit those centers. They can just go in there, look around the center, see what's happening, see what other people are doing. That's one area of big opportunity. But we're not only looking at that, we're also looking at the device area as well. We have a number of young Nigerians that are actually designing devices that are relevant to this environment. So we've seen Vantium, we've seen I think it was Inye, the computer that was designed for this. That's a much harder business, but it's a business that if any Nigerian if young Nigerian wants to enter into that business, we're willing to and ready to support them. And because I think the key thing for us is we don't have the ideas. When I say we, I'm talking about government. We don't have the ideas. We're not the innovative ones, but we see a lot of innovation going on. And what we are trying to do is to build that ecosystem, which starts up with first of all, finding the best ideas, incubating them in a lab, providing seed capital, grants, venture capital for them to succeed and get their companies out of the test or pilot mode their software out of the test or pilot mode into a company, supporting the companies all throughout. And again, the local content really begins to come in there, because we're saying that we need to ensure that we have companies that are well structured, that can participate in this economy. So it's a whole ecosystem that we're trying to build. And what government is doing in terms of encouraging SMEs is to find the weak points in that ecosystem and to strengthen them. So one of the weak points was we didn't have enough incubation labs or accelerators. So we put in money to create the Ideas Lab. Again, this is where we put in money, but we've left it to the private sector to run them for us, because we don't know how to run these things. It's a very different skill. Then we look at the venture capital area. There wasn't enough money, seed money, that was going into these companies. We set up the IT Innovation Fund. We raise the money, we hand it over to a private sector company to run. So we're intervening where we see the weak points are, really to strengthen that ecosystem. And we're seeing some good results from it, creating means by which they can take their softwares from code to a company, but also introducing them to and helping them to really, they're entrepreneurs, they have ideas, but they still have a lot to learn in terms of running the business. So training them in how to develop a business plan, how to run a company, finance, accounts, giving them mentors. All of these are important so that they're not just software developers, but they become software entrepreneurs.
What's the status of Launchpad today?
We have had one edition of Tech Launchpad that was in collaboration with financial services and oil and gas. We're just about to launch a second edition, which is real estate, health, and the building industry. So the idea of Tech Launchpad is to create a pipeline of entrepreneurs. So they enter into this. It's almost like a software business competition. So you have an elevator pitch, you make it online, and we have a panel of judges. They look at it, and the most successful entrants will then have an opportunity to be incubated in the Ideas Lab. So we're creating that pipeline, because again, that was a weak point, where people would come and say, well, yes, we have money, but there are no companies to invest in. And we said, okay, a weak point there. Let's create the pipeline of entrepreneurs. So through Tech Launchpad and many other competitions that are being run. So we're saying, again, it's that philosophy that we're trying to run. It's companies and not code. Because what we find is that young Nigerians are entering into software competitions or hackathons, and they win, 1 million naira, 2 million naira, and they, collect the prize money, spend it, and then they enter the next competition and they start developing software again. But we say, well, that's fine, because it really just enhances innovation and creativity and all of that. But we need to take some of these successful winners and say, you know what, this is really great code, really good piece of software. Let us help you to build a company around it. And I always say, when we talk about Twitter, Instagram, all these things, these were pieces of software. But somebody took that piece of software, that piece of technology, and created this huge company out of it. And that's what we're trying to encourage in our young software entrepreneurs. So that's what Tech Launchpad was, to create that pipeline. Because there's a high failure rate, and we always say this to our entrepreneurs, there's a high failure rate in this sector. I think it's 1 in 25 or even maybe 1 in 100 is going to be successful. So we need to create a pipeline of hundreds of these companies, hundreds of these entrepreneurs, and hope we'll find that one that's going to be the successful one, and that will be the Twitter or the Facebook of Nigeria.
For our mobile app of the week, we'll be sharing a tool called Asana.
Managing diverse teams and projects can be a Herculean task, but with Asana, it becomes a much easier process to manage. Asana offers all the right management tools for teamwork, light collaboration, and task management, which includes deadline settings, priority, and label options, all with a flexible, nimble work environment. The left row holds your workspaces, which houses your projects. It also holds your inbox and task list. From this column, you can color code projects, archive finished projects, create new projects, and much more. If you click on your task list or inbox, Asana shows you all the tasks assigned to you and updates on any task you are following respectively. Asana is a highly recommended tool. Go try it out.
Welcome to the Tech Clinic segment. Question 1. Why is it impossible to upgrade my Android to the latest device? I would say the reason is both simple and complex. Android is an open source platform, and what you find is that phone companies usually tweak it to suit their purpose. Now, when this is done and Android releases an update, like the Android Lollipop that has just been released, it will be near impossible to update it, except if the phone company makes some tweaks and patches before releasing it to the users. Only then would they be able to upgrade it easily. Since Android is practically owned by Google, it's easier for phones like Nexus to get an upgrade faster than other brands that are owned by other manufacturers. Question 2, how can I speed up my website easily? Now, the visitors and people who use your website love fast website. So it is wise to speed up your website. First, I would say make sure you have a good host that is interested in your success. And then the fastest way to achieve this is to implement CDN on your website. Now, CDN simply means Content Delivery Network, and it hosts the file of your website across a huge network of servers around the world. Now, if a visitor hits your site from, say, India, they will be served your website pages from the server that is closest to them. Now, because your bandwidth is spread across many different servers, the load on any single server is reduced, which means that the speed would increase. Now, setting up a CDN can take a few hours, but it is usually one of the quickest ways to dramatically improve your site speed. I have implemented it on all my sites, and I would say it's indeed very helpful. Please send your questions and comments or suggestions to techtrends@channelstv.com or using any of our social media sites, including our BBM channel as displayed on your screen. I would love you to take a moment to determine if your business is truly poised to leverage technology. As we have learned on today's show, thank you for joining us on today's edition of Tech Trends. Let's do it again, same time next week. My name is Chukwemeka Agbata, saying bye for now.